Hello everyone, my name is Prince Noel. Welcome to another episode on Soul Trail, where we inspire and encourage listeners to live a life of hope, faith, and love. In our past episodes, we've been looking at faith. Episode 1, we looked into living in faith, and episode 2, faith over fear. Now, this is episode 3, and today I want to talk about the word can't. There is no such thing as can't. Yeah, I know can't exists, but the word can't shouldn't be in our vocabulary, because this word can't has really immobilized a lot of people in this generation to the point people feel they cannot do this even when they can. A lot of people have lost confidence in themselves. A lot of people have lost hope in themselves. When someone says, I can't do it, I say to myself, what do you mean you can't do it? Maybe you don't want to do it, but saying you can't do it is a completely different story. Because with the right mindset and positive attitude and a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, the only thing that can hold you back is yourself. So obviously, there is no such thing as can't. Can't is a very terrible word. It is a terrible word. And by saying you can't do it, you cannot do something, I can't do this, I can't do that, I am not capable, you're already doubting yourself. You're already submitting to defeat. You're already making that barrier around your life tighter. You feel me? Remove the word can't for good and say from now on, there is nothing I cannot do, because inside of you, you are braver than you think. You have more potentials than you think. You can push barriers, you can break barriers, you can push limits. Your attitude is your tattoo. So if you keep using the word can't, it becomes a part of you and it reflects in your attitude, and that is when it becomes a part of your lifestyle. Do you know why most people say can't and doubt themselves even before trying? Because you see, most people, even before trying, they'll tell you I can't. A lot of people out there, they don't even want to give it a try. They don't want to see, okay, how far is this going to go? Let me give it a shot first and know how it ends up. But no, people don't want to give it a try. Just from seeing it, from seeing maybe the obstacles ahead of them, they just tell you I can't. One of the reasons why people tend to use the word can't is our lack of self-confidence. Once we lack confidence, once we lack self-confidence, fear steps in. And once that fear steps in, at that point, everything is gone. We cannot again. At that point, we cannot. That is when you start saying, I cannot can. I know fit. I know fit. Baba, I know fit. But inside of you, there is confidence. The only thing is, you let fear step in. At some point, you need to bet on yourself, because betting on yourself is an act of faith. Once you bet on yourself, my brother, you can move mountain. What makes you think someone will walk into a betting shop and be like, I want to bet Manchester against Chelsea. I believe Manchester will win. What sort of self-confidence is that? And most times at the end of the day, they lose. But that doesn't stop the person from betting. You feel me? The person just believes in one way or the other that one day, just as they always say, I will cash out. Tomorrow they will still bet another club against another club. So if people can have such confidence in betting sports, why won't you have confidence in yourself? And once we lack this confidence and fear comes in, it is a very big problem, because at that point we begin to see fear of bad results, fear of denial, fear of change, You can't sit back and expect everything to be rosy when you haven't taken a step. Those that climb the mountain, they call them the mountaineers. Do they just get to the top of the mountain by folding their hands? No. In life, everything begins with a step. When God created the world, He did not create the world in a day. It took Him 6 days and He rested on the 7th day. If it could take God 6 days to create everything that we see, that means it will also take time to achieve some things. All we need to do is persevere and have patience. Our confidence is like a tempered glass. Our confidence is fragile. It builds up slowly, but can shatter like a glass. It's just like building a house. It will take time to build that house. But once the government comes and be like, we want to create a road here, this house will go down. In one day, the house will go down. That's the same thing that happens with the confidence. We slowly build it up, but it can shatter like a glass. That is why we need to shield our confidence. Project this confidence into believing in yourself. Project your energy into believing in yourself. This is a very important and groundbreaking step, one that is usually the hardest to take. Start telling yourself you can do something, anything, and you will do it the best to your abilities. Tell yourself you can. Positive affirmations goes a long way in our lives, but a lot of us don't see it. Maybe because we haven't given it a shot, or maybe because we lost focus, or maybe we lack confidence. But when you wake up every morning and affirm positivity, tell yourself, I can move mountains, I am enough, I am positive, I am the best, I am the head, I am not the tail, I am the first, I am not the last, I am above, I am not below. You keep saying these words, it tends to build our confidence. I don't want you to give up. I understand that there are so many things out there that tends to sway us, make us sleep, make us depressed, make us lose focus. But one thing is for sure, the book of 2 Chronicles 15 verse 7 says, but as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. Remove doubts, remove fear, and stick with positive energy. Like my friend Adeze will always say, positive energy is the new peace of mind. Have positive friends around you. Have friends that want you to grow, because you having friends that want you to grow is a very big flex. Another thing here is failure. The fear of failure. People find it difficult to embrace failure. Most times because of what people will say, most times it's because of where they've placed themselves. Some people have placed themselves and their ego, and to go out and do something becomes a problem because they don't want to fail. They don't want people to see them as failures. And we tend to forget that without failure, there is no success. Because every successful person out there today, in one way or the other, experienced failure. But what matters is, did you get up? Did you brace for the impact? In an airplane, watching movies, when an airplane is about to crash, or maybe in vehicles, you're about to crash, they'll tell you, brace for impact. Did you brace for impact? Fear or failure disguises itself. It will not come to you as failure. You won't see it as failure. That's the funny thing. It won't just come to you like, hey, I'm failure. No, it doesn't. This is how failure creeps in. Setting goals that are too easy to attain. You set a goal and you feel it's too easy to attain. At that point in time, it's failure because you haven't achieved the goal. You feel it's too easy. You're looking for something tough. It's failure. Setting goals that are too high, so you aren't hurt if you don't accomplish them. That's another failure. But you won't see it as failure because it doesn't look like failure to you, yeah? Creating low expectations for yourself. avoiding new hobbies, sports, or career endeavors, sticking with what you already know. How will you grow when you stick with what you already know? How will you learn when you stick with what you already know? There's something my friends will always say. They'll be like, when you travel, you gain knowledge. So for you to gain that knowledge, you have to move, right? So you move. Once you move, you gain knowledge, because once you travel, you get to meet people. People get to share experiences with you. You get to hear people's stories. And when you put all these things together, you've learned something. Once you stick to what you already know, there's no way you will learn. There's no way you will grow. Another way by which failure can disguise itself is coming up with lots of ideas and never executing them. Getting easily discouraged by setbacks and giving up too soon. The last but not the least, perfectionism. You see, this word perfectionism, it's very crazy. Perfectionism has dealt with me, messed with my mind. Oh my god, perfectionism. Because you end up trying to make everything you do look perfect. And at the end of the day, this brings procrastination. You could be working on a project for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, trying to make it perfect. And at the end of the day, you won't still see the perfection inside of it. That's one crazy thing about it. So these are the things that bring failure. These are ways by which it can disguise itself. There are so many other ways failure can disguise itself, but these are the ones I can relate to. Everything I say here today is based on my experience. These are what I can relate to. The fear of failure keeps you in your comfort zone. It prevents you from doing anything your brain thinks is risky, forgetting that discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Climbing a mountain, it begins with a step. You don't just from the bottom of the mountain get to the peak, you climb. And even these bros that climb this mountain, they call them the mountaineers, they still miss their steps. But one thing is for sure, you have to brace for that impact, because once you miss, you should have set up your apparatus in a way that once you miss, you are not going down. Brace for the impact. There's something I always tell my friends: hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Because so far you are alive, definitely you are likely to encounter trials, tribulations, obstacles. But what matters is, are you prepared for it? If you are going into a business, for instance, you should know that, okay, I need to prepare for anything that comes, because a business doesn't just boom. You prepare for the worst, hope for the best, because definitely when you hope for the best will come. But along the line, you still prepare for the worst, because not everything is rosy. Thomas Edison, bro, made 1,000 attempts before he succeeded in the invention of an incandescent bulb. These yellow bulbs we use we no longer make use of yellow bulbs now though. But I wonder what gave the mind to attempt 1,000 times. But he was persistent, he persevered. How do we overcome this drama? How do we overcome I can't? How do we overcome doubt? There is one way you can overcome this, and that is doing. Get up and do something. You don't just sit back and fold your hands and expect it to come your way. Get up and do something. Doing is a process, and this process can boost your confidence. It helps you build resilience to failure. Awkwardly try something. Embarrass yourself if possible, and try laughing it off. Like, sometimes when I want to try something and I'll be like, can I do this? What I end up doing is try as much as possible to embarrass myself with it and laugh it off. These guys that go to a mall and make a video, look for people's trouble. Most times I wonder, how were these boys able to do this? Who gave them this mind? They had to push fear aside. They removed fear. They removed doubt. They had to embrace positive energy. I've seen videos of people that were arrested in the mall. Not really arrested, but they were kicked out. But that would be like a failure to them. But it is not a failure. It doesn't stop you from achieving. It doesn't stop you from moving. What matters is, were you able to breathe for the impact? Did you stand? Did you keep moving? Do not fear failure. You feel me? Do not fear failure. Do not run away from it. Face it. Learn from it. Because, how will you learn when you haven't failed? How will you grow when you haven't failed? It's just like a child in primary school. From primary 1, you learn, you grow. You make mistakes, you are corrected. You fail, you could repeat the class depending on how strict the school is. So, but once you repeat that class, one thing is for sure, you wouldn't want to repeat the class again. You want to move to the next class by all means. At that point in time, you'll find out that the child's result gets better. Failure is supposed to be a catalyst, something that is going to push you, something that is going to speed up that reaction. That is what failure is supposed to act as, and not something to make you feel demoralized. Failure is inevitable. That's what I need you all to understand. Failure is inevitable. Failure is there. Failure is there. But what matters is, what did you make out of it? Did you learn from it? Did you grow from it? Did you take actions? You will never know success if you've never failed. You will never know success if you've never failed. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and capable of more than you imagine. Believe in your infinite potential. Your only limitations are those you set upon yourself. Believe in yourself. You have the confidence right there inside yourself. Bring it out. Make the right friends. Surround yourself with positive energy. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Surround yourself with the word of God. Surround yourself with the right friends, God-fearing friends. Friends that need you to grow. Friends that want your prosperity. Friends that want your progress. And trust me, it shall be well with you. Dear Lord, I pray that you give my listeners the courage to face their fears and doubts. Enable them to see past their weakness and challenges so that they may have the confidence to take charge of their life. Grant them a strong sense of faith in you, knowing that you will always be there with them as they step out into the unknown. In Jesus' name, amen. So friends, like I said, everything I said to you today is relatable because I was speaking from my experiences. So I want you all, definitely there are so many people out there who are dealing with this issue of self-confidence and the fear of failure. But I want you all to remove that doubt, remove that fear, and stick with positive energy. Positive energy is the new peace of mind. I pray your souls find a new joy, peace, love, and calmness. I love you guys as always. Cheers.